Hi, I am Mike of Nearly Enough Dice, and this is the Kerbal Space Program. Now, when last you saw me, assuming you watched last episode, I was heading to the moon, and I set up a maneuver node. And because I'm using a very low very low thrust engine, it was like a 3-minute burn. And it did not, in fact, give me a moon encounter at the end of it. It was just slightly off. But I did I did like 2-3 seconds of burn afterwards, and it's given me my moon encounter, so hurrah. I've made another node to do just to bring my pair-apps in a bit. I think this is about as good as I can do without actually breaking everything. Get a bit closer. Whoop. That'll officially be a breaking thing. I think I might leave it there. Yeah. Oh, I think I've broken it in there. Let's get rid of that. Let's just not do it. I mean, I can just circularize from there. Bring myself in a bit. Oh, I didn't like that. That's a 19-second burn. I don't really want to bother though. I mean, the other alternative is going to be a series of, that's just just a series of burns here. I can bring that down to whatever I wanted to bring it down to, but not if I do that. There are times that, well, there are ways. One of the nice things about COTS is I can actually do things like completely zero out a bit of a maneuver node that I don't like. So, green. Oh, I did not in fact have my self on there at all. Alright, so it's going to run display node. It might not work actually. Because I'm currently in Kerbin's sphere influence, it's not necessarily going to understand what my apoapsis is on this. So. I just want to bring that down a bit. Not so much that it disappears, because that means I'm crashing into the ground. There are apparently methods. I've heard there is in fact a method of keeping that so I can see it, which might involve double clicking on the node. I'm just going to go with that. So I'm not bothering with a correction node halfway through. I'm just going to do it all at once. I don't think it makes a difference in delta V if that's all I'm doing is circularizing. If I wanted to do a plane shift, but I don't. I want this to be equatorial, and my orbit is at the moment equatorial, so I'll just do it that way. This is the neat thing, is that I can just go to add alarm, It's going to be a 53-second burn, so that's going to be 25 seconds, well, 26 seconds. So I might as well just give it the full minute. Swap it so it's only just kills the warp, doesn't do anything else. Anti-alarm. And I can just warp to my heart's content. I think I don't think I need to worry about the SOI change at high warp. Being paranoid, the whole point is that this will be handled by alarm clock and I don't need to worry. So it looks to me like the burn time is at 33 seconds. Yeah. Looks to me like we were all slightly off because the projected path is not necessarily exactly where you're going, and so I'm a bit beyond the maneuver node. I should still get. That should be enough to give me a circular orbit. Well, not circular orbit, an orbit. I want an orbit. I don't. There's a certain point where I just don't care. There we go. As long as I get an orbit, I'm not just finding myself back into the Kerbin system. It's all good. Should have given this a poodle. I don't. Well, I'm not used to using that engine. I used to use a poodle for my transfer stages. That's got a higher thrust, but it just means that my burn times are longer. In some cases, significantly longer, but still got tons of fuel left in this stage. My electric charge is fine. I'm actually in the sunlight, so I can look at my thing. Look at it there, isn't that lovely? Panels out, which is good. So what have we got? What is my actual? That'll do. That'll do. Okay, so I'm in stable orbits. List files. What's supposed to go? Right, so copy circ from PD from 0. Circ from PD is circularized orbit from periaps using velocity calculations. My old way of doing it actually used a bit of a binary search. It would say somewhere between a periapsis of somewhere between a prograde of 2000 delta V and a retrograde of 2000 delta V, there is going to be the orbit that I want. And I did a kind of binary search, and that turns out really stupid because you can just work out really quickly, especially if you know how to use the rocket equation, which I have stolen from somebody else's node following. But I do, you can work out the rocket equation, and from the rocket equation, just work out exactly what the node needs to be, what delta V needs to happen, and when it needs to happen, and how long the burn needs to be, and all that kind of stuff. Again, the thing I really need to add is some clever node following, some auto warping. I don't want to make it 30 minutes. So I don't have to make an alarm clock entry every single time, which is what I currently have to do. And it's just getting to that phase of. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to de-warp. I'm going to hit backspace because that puts my focus back on my ship. So yeah, I want to do some auto warping in the Xnode function, Xnode thing, so that I can just run Xnode and it'll immediately warp me and bring itself out of warp at the right time. So maybe 10, 15, 30 seconds before the burn is about to start, to give itself time to point towards the maneuver node and then do that. Oh, these burn times take forever. I'm really. I was just like, burns take forever. I'm just not used to it. I'm just used to bigger, stronger engines, but at this particular stage. But I got just that extra chunk of delta V, which just is so nice. Now, as you can see, the moon is just covered. It's like a racing driver's sponsorship kind of thing. The moon is just covered with things for me to go look at, and that's the point of the rovers. So the rovers, the idea is the rovers will go and get all that useful science, and come back to the main ship. And I don't know where I want to put the main ship, to be perfectly honest. So one of the options, I think the proper option, the sensible option, would be directly facing Kerbin. Which is like here, I guess. We're a bit wobbly. Still got, nearly fair amount of juice left in the thing, actually. Yeah. But given I don't want this rover ever to go home. I don't particularly care about that, so I don't need to worry about refueling it or anything along those lines. The only thing is, I kind of want to know where the highland. Is this all highlands? Do I have a map of the moon? I have a map of the moon on my template, on my my tablet thing. Moon. Map. Right, so that should be Midlands. This crater? I'm trying to work out. This crater is either East Farside crater or it's Farside crater. I think maybe I want to be in there. It's probably surrounded. I believe it's surrounded by highlands. Now, the thing is, I've already been to Highlands. That's a place I've already been. So I therefore don't necessarily want to go there again. Could it be Northwest Crater? If I'm looking at that, I'm thinking that looks very much like Southwest Crater. If you go up on the map I have here, the map I have here, that would look to be Northwest Crater. That is actually looking a lot like Northwest Crater. If it's northwest crater, that's actually quite good because that means that it's not surrounded by um, highlands, which, as I believe I have mentioned. I'm really regretting not putting a flight computer on it. The Pallas 2 is going to have a flight computer on it because flight computers allow you to work out what biome you're in, which is a nice thing to be able to do. Right. On the basis that that is where I think it is. I'm going to land. I'm going to land there. So the idea is to kill the surface velocity. And just do all that kind of stuff. So how long to that know? Because I'm presumably going around the dark side at this point, yeah. So, whoop, that's the wrong thing. So it looks to be about the burn. Now here's an interesting question. How much of this do I do at this stage? One of the things I could do is use the remaining fuel that I've got. And again, I wish I had brought my flight computer because then I could work out what my delta V is. Is use the remaining fuel that I've got to bring my periamps and alpha amps down even further. And work out what I'm given that I don't know what my thrust to weight ratio is, because I should have made it when at the lander stage. Do I want to? Am I able to do a suicide burn, or as in, yeah, well, I would be doing a suicide burn because that involves me being very rather clever than I think I actually am. Am I able to do the stop, drop, and then land? Or do I want to do the version where you essentially lower your apoapsis and periapsis to you're just skimming the planet, and then it's quite a long process where the amount of thrust is how much you're slowing your horizontal, your pitch is how much you're slowing your vertical, and so you're angling your thrust so that you're not crashing into the planet. So you're just pointing as down as you need to go to keep your height the same. And then when you pass about 45 degrees, then you kind of reverse that. So now pitch is your horizontal and thrust is your vertical. And that's effectively what the Apollo used to land. I don't think I'm going to do it that way. I'm just going to go crazy. The interesting thing is, technically speaking, this kind of means that when I get my Athena probe, my Athena station, one of the things I'm going to want to do is try and land in the same place, and that's not a thing I've done. As you can see, my previous landing is way over here. So we're just going to have to look at that. Okay, so I'm just going to use that as I'm not actually using it as a maneuver node, but I'm using it as a means of setting an alarm. I'm going to give myself a minute. And then time warp till I get there, and I can't warp that much because I'm quite high up. And then get rid of the maneuver node, I don't actually need it. Although I'm actually slightly regretting to do that because actually it would have been useful as a point of reference. So alarm clock should unwarp me at the right-ish moment. Right, I reckon I've got about 30 seconds. Before I should start my burn. Why are the keys not doing anything? Device does not have very much power on this thing in terms of turning. So I'm going to use my orbit stage to do. Yeah, looks like I should have put some reaction wheels. Looks like the probe itself doesn't have enough oomph. I should have maybe put something on there. Oh well, never mind. Oh dearie me. Turn RCS on. So I'm just going to use as much of my fuel as from this stage as possible, kill as much of my velocity as possible, my surface, specifically my surface velocity, as I can. And then I just junk that and just leave it. And I desperately hope that I'm going to have a nice thrust to weight ratio when I throw that stage away, because things are taking a really long time. That's better. You can see the retrograde marker moving more in the direction that I want it to move. So I'm going to continue chasing that until it's at the top of the nav ball. So the answer to my question is yes, I absolutely can land this way. So I'm now falling out the sky. Let's put my gear out. Don't think I've got any lights to put on. Am I going to land directly into a crater? And now the only question is, when do I aim for a burn? Part of the issue is I, again, did not bring a flight computer with me, which means I don't know I don't know what the I don't know where my surface is, and if I should have put lights on this, which helps with landing. Yeah, not the most successful. Oh well. The sensor has detected a minor quake in the surface. Actually, could I? Review data. Oh, let's see if I can transmit it. I don't know if I've got enough. I don't know if I've got enough power to transmit it. No. Warning, not enough electric charge. Oh well. There you go. That I think we're gonna have to call that a failure. Lessons learned. Lessons learned. Lessons learned. Take a flight computer on. I think that's the first thing. Take a flight computer because I didn't know when to start burning. I'm pretty convinced I had enough thrust to do it, but I didn't know when to start. So. Yeah. I probably would have if everything. I might have been able to survive if I'd been able to do that. Lessons learned. So I'm going to have to do another of those launches. So hopefully all the other processes are going to be fine. So I'll be able to just do the launch and all that kind of stuff. And so we'll try again with Pallas 2, which at the very least is going to have the flight computer on it. And some other modifications. So I've been Mike of Nearly Enough Dice. Thanks for watching. I hope you've been enjoying the video. Please hit like and subscribe because I'm going to be doing lots more of these things. I still have to get my actual Athena lander all the way over here and desperately hope it will not fact fall out of the sky. Much like that. So yes, clearly this is good practice for my moon landings. Yeah. We have a role-playing game themed podcast and blog at nearlyenougghdice.com. Do feel free to come along there. But until we meet again, this is Mike of Nearly Enough Dice saying, reach for the stars.